19 keys. That's your download. Tap in. That's the download.
Peace, family. It's 19 Keys tapping in. Today's download will be a little different. I want to read something from my book to introduce you all a little deeper into some of the literature that I've composed. Now, this book is just an entry gateway drug into the deeper knowledge, right? Because I have more literature and more books coming, but I believe that in order for you to be prepared for those, I want you to tap into this, right? This book I named Paradigm Keys, Solution-Based Mind Reprogramming, and I wanted it to be an easy read guide that you can utilize that allow you to start adding and implementing solutions and downloading concepts and keys into your life that will allow you to be able to go to that next level, start reprogramming yourself instantly, right? So without further ado, I don't even want to over talk it. I want to get directly into the book, right? And this book is reprogramming from the first sentence that you tap in and starts to unlock you. And as you go through this, you're going to find a myriad of mini keys that are easily digestible that you can utilize instantly. The book starts off with the introduction keys. The first sentence reads, "This is the period of enlightenment, the dawn of a new awakening, and it couldn't be more on time. Our ancestors have passed down with them every lesson learned from their struggles. It is up to us to use the information to gain our sovereignty. We must continue to be a patient but vigilant people, a strategic, confident, planning and executing people. Our enemy has been planning against us and has been winning for far too long for us to be so patiently great. Time to turn that potential into actualization. Everywhere in our culture you see genius. This genius may be overlooked, misappropriated, and mocked, but it can't be ignored. The cradle of creativity lies within the minds and the expression of our collective. Our spirit is so strong that it moves the earth and controls the sun. We are the life force that energizes everything, yet we have not realized this. No one who has set on the task of putting you in a cage will also give you your freedom. Who has more power? The big dumb brute or the small meek genius? In every aspect of our lives, we have been pointing our collective energy in the wrong direction. In the time of MLK's civil rights movement, we gave all our attention to those who rejected us. We gave all our tolerance and patience to those who despised, spit on, punched, kicked, and mocked us. We gave all our love to those who hate because we did not understand. We have been pointing our collective energy in the wrong direction for far too long, and now it is time for us to refocus our energy within, starting from our lower selves into our higher selves. If you keep in mind that the thought patterns of this book, Paradigm Keys, you can easily pry some of the locks open. A paradigm refers to programming of collection of habits. This is a quick, smart, solution-based read to tap in. The point of reading any book like this is to help you make better decisions. This is an unorthodox read, right? I consider this to be a transcription of my notes and lectures and thoughts and opinions directly from 19 Keys myself. Consider this offering like a mixtape, and my next project will be my album. A much more personal and deeper cerebral read on the codex of 19 Keys in my life journey. This one gets straight to the point, reprogramming you from the first sentence. So, what is that first sentence? What does it take to reprogram ourselves to a solution-based thinker? Heading, society is working towards a subconscious paradigm shift. The subconscious mind is where you shift the paradigm because it controls the conscious behavior. At the core of programming is our faith, which we get our rituals and rites from that we have become accustomed to. Religion is full of rituals, so when you think about success, you can look at the rituals we have been implementing in our lives and you can measure whether those things are successful or not. How successful are those rituals, and if they are supposed to get us to the ultimate level of divine success, why aren't they working? In design thinking, we look at how things work, its internal parts, and what the interface with the design is. We observe, we take insights for our decisions. Well, what have you observed from your expressions? And how is the world interfacing with your designs? And how are you interfacing with the world designs? The design of nature allows man and woman to tap into God. The design of nature is made from God in the mathematical structure of the universe. The language of the universe is mathematics. Language speaks towards our ability to express ourselves. which is why slaves were forbidden from interacting with certain knowledge held in books. Because as Frederick Douglass said, knowledge makes a man unfit to be a slave. We must break away from the slave rituals and free ourselves and truly become empowered. After putting the ideas of ritualistic behavior into context, in order to reprogram a person, you need to reprogram their language, faith, and beliefs. You must look at the faith and what's built into those rituals. You must also ask, what's the root of those rituals and how were they learned? There's a need for balance within how we align our morality versus our power. In America, it's no secret that most of our rituals are passed down from slavery, and that these rituals are the effects of Christianized teachings. Christianized in the sense that when the slave master gave the religion to the slaves, they embedded certain things within those rituals of those people to make them better slaves. Case in point, the way our moral system is set up is based on the slave's moral system. And the slave's moral system is based on following the crowd mentality. Not to use one power as if it gives them a more upright or moral stance. A master utilizes the master's moral system, which is to control the culture of the people and control the faith and the language. The master believes he is doing a good thing because he's giving the people a faith, a language, a culture, creating a false sense of it, something to believe in, a God. If you can control a person's belief in God, you become their God. If you can control their language, then you can control how they express themselves. Slaves' morality sees virtue as refrain in using one's power. To exercise it would make them like their master, and the master is always seen to be immoral from the slave's eyes. The slave thinks of themselves as good, and the one who keeps them in bondage is the one that's evil. This, of course, is true. But the slaves also thinks that any behavior or characteristics like the master is also evil and immoral. So the slave doesn't want to become their own master and control their own reality and paradigm, which is why the slave asks when they should take. Consider for a moment our behavior as a collective in this country. We're not fully utilizing our power. The belief in turning the other cheek and not using one's own power somehow makes us think that we are better than the ones that oppress us. We need to redefine that weakness within our programming so that we can become the masters of our existence. The illusion of liberty has been given to us, a bigger cage to be under someone else's authority, under those with all the power. The goal shouldn't be simply to have freedom, it should be power. We must become our own masters, not to get a job, but to create a job. Not to ask for opportunities, but to create opportunities. Not to vote or die, but to lobby and live. Not to ask for help, but to do for self. Not to wait for college acceptance, but to self-educate and create our own schools. Not to complain of fake news and underrepresentation, but to create our own media, to teach the master programming to our children. Now, we need to stop indoctrinating our children with the rituals of being a slave. I'm going to end with one more paragraph just to give you a little more insight. But I want you all to really look at this, listen, take notes, because oftentimes it's not just about what is said. Think about what is being conveyed. How is that person thinking? Because the concepts allow you to download new thought patterns that allow you to shape new ways that you go about living, thinking, and doing life. And oftentimes we're not prepared to do life the right way because we were never given a manual to understand our decisions, our choices, our systems, the institutions that were here before us. And by able to think and see the world from a larger perspective, to understand the concept of this reality that we plan in, what's inside us, right? The epigenetics that we are born with, the traumas that we are born with, the traditionalism. It allows us to break free from these cycles, reprogramming ourselves and going into a new phase and a new era within our culture. That is free human beings. And freedom is the ability to control your mind and your will at every degree. So it says, we need to stop indoctrinating our children with the rituals of slave behavior. There are even some Muslims that before they became Muslims, they were so indoctrinated by Christianity that they haven't been able to repudiate Christianity from their system of thinking and behavior, that they project the slave way of thinking into the ideas of Islam, which is supposed to be free. Understand that when they gave us the language, they didn't give us all the language. It was enough language that would allow our pattern of thinking to continue to think like a slave. Think about that. We are not given words that will make us think in a sovereign manner. We aren't taught about systems such as banking and economics as far as it subjugating us into nefarious implications. Nah, we don't think about having our own banking system, you understand me, which was built so that we couldn't comprehend it. We weren't taught about liquidity injections, meaning when a bank basically prints more money to continue to sustain itself. We were not taught about economic sustainability, intergenerational wealth, real estate credit, or any entry-level financial literacy. But as we hear more commonplace conversations about wealth within our paradigm, this changes the trajectory of our culture. Sure, we can continue to complain, or we can act on the solutions by giving our people access, the smarts to do better. So the very act of teaching our people financial power produces an entire different reality. One where we are not begging, but demanding and enforcing. We can now envision our lives with a fresh pair of new eyes, with new opportunities, because constructed in our programming and language, it's a different pattern of thinking to express. Family, I hope y'all enjoyed this read, and I hope that encourages you to read my book, and I hope that you gain value from it. There's some solution-based things that I've listed, part of my routines that I do to keep myself consistent in my higher consciousness and development against this world. And as you go through the different chapters, you're going to find each one is designed to tap you out the system and tap you into yourself. The first one was about what does it take to reprogram ourselves to be a solution-based thinker. Everything to teaching you how to stop indoctrinating your children into slave behavior, how the education system makes workers and not thinkers, right? And even teaching the parents about Instagram and how to update your mindware and not just your software. How to utilize the power of universal affirmations to program your subconscious, right? What rituals that suggest for people in the categories of mental, physical, and spiritual health to express their higher selves. Tapping into your subconscious mind consistently. The difference between city thinking versus nature thinking, decisions versus distractions, the great rising versus the good morning routine, building your future self, drinking gold, curing procrastination, right? Producing a better mind, birthing a better reality. You understand me? How to charge your life with positive and negative energy, right? How not to steal from yourself, how to control your language, which controls your thinking, right? And then one of the greatest favorites people always love is your frequency is what you do frequently, right? And how to gauge someone's frequency, how to understand where you at and how to utilize it in an arithmetic to produce what you will, right? Goes into even more, but I'll let you just read the book and tap in. I'm 19 Keys. I hope you enjoyed this download read. Right now, you can go get my book at crowns19.com, or you can text book to 323-577-6692. Peace, family. Peace, family. 19 Keys tapping in with you. This episode is sponsored by Goldwater. For those who are not on the gold, you should be. And the reason that you should be because this is going to electrify your body, your senses, your aura, and your energy. The ancient Egyptians used to take it and they believed it was the elixir of God. Now the reason that they believed that because they used to break it down in an enormous powder form and they would ingest this gold. Gold is a superconductor of electricity and they believe that if you ingested this gold, then you also receive the messages from the creator, the universe, this inner knowing that you would get. Now, I tend to believe in a more logical sense of it, that we are all born with 0.02% of gold within our body. Now, this gold electrifies our nerves and it also helps with anti-inflammation. There have been great testimonials all around with different type of people that utilize it. Increased energy, hand-eye coordination, lucid dreaming. Yes, lucid dreaming. A lot of those people, or a lot of people around the world, just don't lucid dream, period, or don't dream in color. Right? The increase in your dream activity is important when it comes to your actual life. See, if you don't dream when you go to sleep, then you don't manifest from your imagination during your waking hours. right? It's important that we have dreams. It's important that we get that deep rest. It's important that our brain secretes a fluid over the ridges, you understand me, to allow us to clear out neurotoxins so when we wake up, we're more clear and we're not seeking coffee. This helped me eliminate my addiction to caffeine. I needed a drink just about every single day. You understand me? I wake up, I needed one of them red eye, I needed double shots. I'm at the Peace Coffee, I'm at the Starbucks. Every single day, I thought I needed coffee until I found the gold. And ever since I've been on the gold, I put the drink down. You understand me? Yeah, I'm making it sound like it's liquor, but also in the UK in the 19th century, they actually utilized it to curb alcoholism. Now this is real history that you can look up for yourself if you want to go study the effects of gold. We utilize two different types of gold, monatomic gold and colloidal gold. Now both of these are just talking about the particle size of the gold. So when you ingest it, it goes into the bioavailability within yourself, gets into your cellular structure, electrifies your whole being, and you tapped into that God level. Make sure you tap in, get on the gold, so we can all be tapped into that next level, just like our ancestors. Peace, family. Go to www.goldwater.com. That's GOLDE water.com. Peace.